In the end, they explode like a complete volcano, and we all watch Scrappy and Bambi attempting to maintain their cuteness when they first split up by making the public relations move that they were simply growing apart to go on as mature adults and co-parent amicably. But reality set in quickly, since they were dragging each other around social media within 2 minutes after their divorce was finalized. While Bambi was out there like shady tweets and making all sorts of mysterious remarks, Scrappy was out there posting subliminals and pretending to be a heartbroken victim. Then, boom. Yes, Bambi did not simply slap back. Instead, she produced evidence in the form of receipts. What was in those receipts, you ask? Well, it was just a small detail that gave Scrappy a genuine appearance. People initially believed that Bambi was simply venting, possibly disclosing some texts or blogging, but the light screenshots, voice, notes, and the icing on the cake are a clip that has the entire internet on fire. A small flashback to Scrappy's mischievous behavior. But no, she went for the since the clip she released was a career-ending one. Imagine waking up, looking at your phone, and seeing your name is popular, but it's not because you released a great song. Rather, it's because your ex recently revealed everything about you. I know you're eager to see what's in this video, and we'll get to it, I promise. But know that when people saw it, they all had the same reaction. Scrappy is done. Pay attention to the streets telling you to pack up, because the internet does not grant second chances. Before we dive into the juicy specifics, let's discuss how the internet responded to this complete catastrophe. Since the moment Bambi uploaded the video, it was everyone and their mother had something to say about the turmoil I'm referring about, including memes, TikToks, and reaction videos. Some said that Scrappy might as well delete his account. Others, Bambi woke up and decided to use violence. Whatever's in that clip must be worse than we initially believed because Scrappy hasn't spoken. And you know that a man is scorching hot when he is that silent after being exposed. Hold on, you guys think Scrappy just took this as a learning opportunity and carried on with his day? No, Scrappy had to answer, and this is where things get even messier. Let's now discuss. Given that Scrappy isn't the kind to let people bring up his name, it's obvious that you don't know who we're dealing with if you assumed he would simply suffer this loss in silence. The muck without retaliating. And when I tell you that this man was in full damage control mode, he was frantically acting as though his entire career depended on it. Which, let's face it kind of does at this point. What does Scrappy do first? He performs the well-known "let me act like I don't care" move, which he executes for a few hours without posting on Instagram or tweeting because, you know, scandals happen. The first thing a celebrity does is act as though they're too busy to notice. But the internet wasn't letting him get away with it. People commented on his most recent post, saying things like, "Nah, don't vanish now." Need clarification? Bambi truly left you speechless. If you require a public relations team, you should choose Scrappy. The man was being cooked in real time when he suddenly appeared on Instagram Live. And when I tell you, he seemed anxious and his energy was wrong. He appeared to be a man who had just learned that his credit score had plunged by 200 points in a single day. At first, he attempted to act calm, but you're not really tripping. Story. People were reaching out to him, but the chat room was flooded with remarks. The clip was shown, and then he was asked to explain himself. "Scrappy, are you guilty or not?" At which point, he began to stumble. He quickly became defensive when he said that people should mind their own business, and that he was sick of the internet constantly changing things. However, the internet didn't change anything. Bambi revealed direct evidence of everything. But things get more stranger, since Bambi was enjoying a cup of tea, while Scrappy was on live trying to clean up his mess. In the midst of Scrappy's live stream, Bambi shares a second clip, and this one, oh this one, had everyone in stitches because she suddenly drops another bombshell while they are watching him struggle. Since Bambi just done that, it appears that the first film was only a preview. Have you ever seen a controversy drop in episodes like a TV show? Well, let's just see what's in this new clip. Claim that it verified all of the rumors that had been circulating about Scrappy for months. People had been guessing that Scrappy had been acting a little shadily behind the scenes and engaging in some dubious behavior. Dubious DMS, you know the typical, but no one had evidence. It was all whispers until Bambi released video evidence. Never play with a woman who has been holding you down from the beginning. The problem is that Jim is dealing with more. Remy Ma wrote on her Instagram story, in response to a post that said, "Jim has been acting himself. Chrissy has been loyal. Who else jumped in, you ask? More than just personal criticism. His career is already suffering, honey." According to a network insider, Jim was reportedly negotiating a new reality TV deal with a big network, but the deal has been put on ice as a result of the issue. Jim's business is failing, honey, and it looks like he is already pulling out of one of his major endorsement deals, which is for sneakers. Do you want the blowback? Advertisers are already fleeing because Jim's name is too shady right now. Valued at over 6 figures, as confirmed by an insider, and the company is considering ending the deal since they don't want to be associated with this kind of scandal. The question now is how Jim handles this. As from what I understand, Chrissy is currently in total authority. The receipts are in her possession, the public backs her, and she has the advantage in court. However, if Chrissy decides to take this matter all the way to trial, Jim might lose his job, his money, and his reputation in general. He might even lose his love. What is the most ridiculous thing that Chrissy hasn't said yet? According to someone close to her, Chrissy is letting Jim hang himself right now because she knows that everything he says will just make him look worse. Oh, he's still. The question now is not if Chrissy will leave him, but rather, how much Jim would regret it if she does. Jim was spotted acting irresponsibly out here last night at another club, appearing messy and inebriated. Can you guess who he was with? She was the same mysterious woman. And when does Chrissy make contact, honey? This will be the end of Jim Jones's life. The only question now is whether Jim will survive the consequences, or if this is the beginning of Jim and Chrissy's demise. As you are already aware, I will be back with every update. The question now is whether Jim and Chrissy's relationship will actually terminate, or if Chrissy will leave him permanently after years of supporting, protecting, and holding him down. If she does, what will happen to Jim? Trust me, honey, this story is far from finished. Jim's reputation and career may not survive this one without Chrissy. Let's face it, but what about the tea? Chrissy's silence and quietness now speak louder than anything she could say. Honey, and Jim may lose not only his love, but also his money and house. Considering his professional reputation, if Chrissy departs and files those lawsuits, and he continues to act recklessly while wearing the nameless woman's arm, he appears to be trying to destroy himself. But what about the admirers they have already selected? I can see that social media is completely behind Chrissy, and if she decides to suit Jim, everyone will be watching. But what about the unnamed man? Is that a true story about him? Or is he just a friend? The question at hand is what Chrissy will do. Will she then continue to say nothing? And will she let Jim fail? Or will she exploit power to vanquish him forever? Tell us. If you're more of a Jim, let us know in the comments, a fan of Chrissy. Is it time for Chrissy should continue without turning around? Or this story is far from over? Should she forgive Jim? from the end, so kindly provide your opinions. Along with me, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. So trust me when I say that this story's. When the next episode is released, you'll want to be the first to know. My love, please wait, because this story is just getting started. Dubious DMS. You know the typical, but no one had evidence. It was all whispers until Bambi released video evidence. I can't reveal exactly what's in this video though, because let's be honest. Sincerely, we're not attempting to ban anyone, but let's just say that it was enough to turn Scrappy's entire fan base against him. They began dragging him like never before, returning from this dog. So we're going to disregard this or what? Meanwhile, Scrappy was still live and was unaware that Bambi had just uploaded the second film. So image him behaving tough, unconcerned, and then all of a sudden, people in the comments began writing, "Check out Bam's page, bro. She just ended you." It was over, and you could see the precise moment Scrappy realized something was the wrong man fell silent and began browsing through his phone, and suddenly his entire face altered before his live stream abruptly terminated. At this point, the internet was in ruins, and Twitter was on, Instagram was exploding, Tik was overrun with reaction videos, and Bambi wasn't finished yet because she had uploaded a statement immediately following the release of that second clip. That had everyone. People were clamoring for the whole tale at this point, and Scrappy's silence was making him appear worse by the moment. Shook, I said. You guys thought that was it. Let's face it, if you weren't guilty, you would be defending yourself right away. However, this man was unable to be found, so people began to piece things together and discover Bambi wasn't merely exposing Scrappy for fun. Rather, she was strategically waiting for the ideal opportunity, and just when Scrappy believed he could simply write the drama out and let it go, she strikes him with another revelation. By this time, people had already written obituaries for Scrappy's career, because the second thing Bambi revealed was that it was now legal, and not just personal. Drama. Additionally, if Scrappy believed he was having issues before, he was about to discover what true trouble looks like. At a time when everyone believed Bambi had already revealed all available detail, share turns with receipts that sent the internet into a frenzy. Because this time, it wasn't just about Scrappy's shady behavior. It was legal, and if Scrappy believed this was merely a social, he was about to have an unpleasant awakening due to a media scandal. Bambi had been holding on to something significant, and she chose the ideal time to release it. Since shortly after Scrappy attempted to vanish, people were gasping when Bambi returned from the social media explosion with documents. And not just any documents, but court filings, financial records, and invoices. People were staring at Scrappy as if he were going to be wearing an orange jumpsuit. So the internet wasn't just dragging him. What exactly did Bambi expose? Well, let's just say it had everything to do with money, because as you may recall, Scrappy had been acting quite strangely with his money ever after the divorce, and many had been wondering why he was constantly discussing his financial difficulties. We all know those reality TV checks aren't hitting like that anymore. So why is he out here stunting like a rapper while still flaunting luxury clothing and playing broke on Instagram? Well, Bambi simply responded to all of those inquiries, as it appears that Scrappy had been embezzling his money in secret. And Bambi had the proof. She revealed that Scrappy had been concealing. This man was out here playing tax games, shifting money around in shady ways, and even avoiding some financial obligations. Listen, you may argue with your ex all day long, but you don't fool with Uncle Sam, because if the government finds out, it's over. You can see how Scrappy fell silent and began scrolling the instant he realized something was seriously wrong. His entire face changed through his phone in the middle of the video, and then it abruptly ended. At this moment, the internet was in ruins. With Instagram taking over, TikTok exploding, and Twitter on fire, was inundated with reaction videos. But Bambi wasn't finished yet, because she posted a statement immediately following the release of the second clip that left everyone stunned. Oh, you guys thought that was it? People were clamoring for the whole story by this point, and Scrappy's quiet was making him appear worse by the moment. Let's face it, if you weren't guilty, wouldn't you be defending yourself right away? But this man was nowhere to be seen, and that's when everyone realized that Bambi wasn't only revealing Scrappy for fun. Rather, she was waiting strategically. She strikes him with another revelation at the ideal time, just when Scrappy believed he could write the drama out and let it go. But by then, people were already writing Scrappy's career obituary, because the next thing Bambi revealed was that it was now legal and not just personal drama. And if Scrappy had concerns before, he was going to learn why. When everyone believed Bambi had already revealed all possible detail, she returned with receipts that sent the internet into a frenzy. This appears to be serious problems. And if Scrappy believed this was merely a social media scandal, he was due for a big awakening, because Bambi had been waiting. This time, it wasn't just about Scrappy's shady behavior. It was legal to something significant, and she chose the ideal time to release it, because shortly after Scrappy attempted to vanish from social media, Bambi reappeared with documents. Not just any. At this point, the internet wasn't just dragging. Scrappy had people gasping at his financial data, court files, legal paperwork, and receipts. They were staring at him as if he were about to be wearing an orange jumpsuit. So what precisely did Bambi reveal? Well, let's just say that it had to do with money, since, as you may recall, Scrappy had been flashing his fin in a really amusing way. People have been asking why he is constantly talking about money issues, why he always acts broke on Instagram, while yet flaunting fancy clothes, and why he is out ever since the divorce. Bambi simply responded to all of those inquiries, because it seemed that Scrappy had been performing, even though we all know that reality TV checks aren't hitting like that anymore. Filthy with his money, behind the scenes, and Bambi had the proof that Scrappy had been evading specific financial regulations, hiding assets, and shifting money in shady ways. This man, obligations, was out here playing tax games. Listen, you can argue with your ex all day long, but you don't fool with Uncle Sam, because if the government finds out, the internet went berserk after Bambi revealed this fresh bombshell, and users began downloading old interviews from Love and Hip Hop and screenshotting Scrappy's own statements. Remember how Scrappy had been crying and broke after the divorce, complaining that Bambi was stealing all of his money and that he had nothing left? Well, it turns out that everything started to pile up. Bambi just produced bank papers that revealed Scrappy had far more money than he had stated. And the worst part was that some of this money was extremely dubious, because out of unexpectedly, people began to notice odd activities, money being transferred to arbitrary accounts, unexpected business expenses that made no sense, and big withdrawals without any justification. Pay attention when the internet began to play detective, many began to speculate that Scrappy was hiding assets, deliberately evading child support payments, or laundering money. Wouldn't have to pay Bambi at this point, and the rumors weren't limited to fans anymore. News organizations began to cover the topic, and blogs were publishing headlines like "Scrappy's finances under fire." He attempted to conceal funds from Bambi, but recent disclosures indicated that Scrappy might be in legal hot water. At that point, the worst thing that could have occurred to Scrappy was that an official investigation was launched, said, "Yep, some industry professionals who are truly familiar with the legal system began to remark that if this is true, Scrappy may have a serious problem, since allegedly the way this money was moving, and it was suspect enough for someone to start looking into it. When individuals do this, things never work out well." At this point, Scrappy was totally silent, posting nothing on Instagram, and Bambi, on the other hand, was doing well, like tweets, sending cryptic notes, and lounging while watching the internet obliterate Scrappy in real time. She even made a dubious post. Nevertheless, the internet went crazy when people began claiming that Bambi is the queen of revenge because she just treated Scrappy worse than he had ever treated her, and that karma always knows the address. This is the result of playing with the wrong woman. But the truth is that it wasn't even over because, as you may recall, Bambi had previously stated, "I got more," which implied that there was still more to come. The key question is what will happen next, because Scrappy's career is on life support. His name is being dragged every day. His followers are abandoning him, and if these investigations truly reveal that Scrappy may be dealing with far more serious issues than a social media scandal, thus the true question is whether Scrappy will ever fully bounce back from this, or if Bambi simply, in addition to ending his job permanently, what more does she have on him? If this was only the beginning, Scrappy had better start praying. And that's the whole story. Now that Scrappy has been fully exposed, I want you all to leave a comment telling me if you believe Scrappy is done for good, if Bambi is being petty, or if she is simply seeking retribution. And most importantly, you should like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next installment. More importantly, do you believe she has more chairs waiting? If so, Scrappy might not make it through this one. Because believe me, this drama isn't finished yet. Having said that, I'll see you in the following one. PH, this story will simply keeps becoming wilder, and I am aware of all of you. I have a few things to say about it, so I need to know if Bambi did just perform the ultimate act of retaliation. Scrappy done for the true and good? Do you guys think she's got even additional soil that is awaiting the drop? Because if Scrappy, this was only the beginning, may have to enter witness protection. Now, leave a comment and let me know. Given that this tea is hot, what do you think? And I want to know if you're drinking or listening to this drama and pouring isn't tapering down shortly. So if you'd like to remain informed about every untidy turn and turn, hit. You already know what to do. It's subscribes and likes buttons. Then activate those post alerts so you don't overlook any updates. Since believe me, the next one will be even more bizarre. And having said that, see you everyone at the next one.